Hey guys, my name is Matthew with MEG Academy and MEG Business Management, and we have Robert Beba here. Robert is the Executive Director of Clinical Operations for the Therapy Network. The Therapy Network is one of our larger clients on MEG Academy with over 35 users, and they are just amazing when it comes to logistics, and they're an amazing client to work with. They decided that Robert wanted to hop on the phone here to talk to us today just to give us some of his experience. And talk about some statistics he's had with using MEG Academy. So, Robert, thank you for joining me here today. I really appreciate it. Maybe just give the guys and practice owners out there just a little bit of background, your little background of yourself.
Yeah, Rob Beba. I'm originally from England. I've been living over in the US for a good 25 years. Been on board with the Therapy Network for 20 years. 20 plus years, and risen up through from staff therapist to clinical director, and now part of the executive management team. I oversee all of the clinic directors in each clinic. We have 7 clinics. We're based in Virginia Beach. We've got locations in Norfolk and Chesapeake, all outpatient private practice.
Awesome. That's perfect. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask Robert some questions and just go over some of the stuff before, during, and after MEG Academy, before he's came work with us, and then after he's come work with us, some of the statistics he's brought to the table here. So, Robert, first question we have are, tell us a little bit about your practice as it is currently. So, where you're at right now.
Well, we've been with MEG probably a good 6 months or more. You could probably tell me that, Matthew.
Yeah,
right?
I go back with MEG Academy, we can hold accountability. I can
right.
Go the day.
So we've really been we've gone through the 7 divisions. We've introduced divisions 1, 2, and 4 because they're the most important and critical divisions for the running of the company, and we've got those up and running pretty much where we want them, which means that we are now constantly tracking all the metrics and stats that we need to, particularly from Division 4, which I head up. We're gonna roll it. We decided because just changing and transitioning to having those 7 divisions, which has been excellent. Which if people are becoming more familiar with that, they recognize that it's not necessarily a traditional company structure, but it's working fantastically well for us. But we decided to introduce those 3 divisions first, and then we're going to roll out the other divisions in the next phase, which is forthcoming. So those divisions 1, 2, and 4 we've introduced, and we're constantly tracking the metrics and stats from those on a week-by-week basis. And now to the point where we're going to start rolling out bonuses to our staff based on their performance.
Awesome. Yeah.
That's about where we're at.
Yeah. And I think what Rob's talking about, he's talking about the 7 divisions we teach within MEG Academy under the structure program. And, I'll put a little thing on the screen here for you guys to see. Not only we have created this structure for them and have videos training them about each division, we've created Google Sheets where you can go in and input who at the company is in charge of this, who is in charge of that, who's their senior, who do they report to. So it's a Google Sheet that you fill out, and you have no problem. Everybody can see it, see who's in charge and what the responsibilities are at the company. So that's great that you guys have been working with that. I guess let's get into like the little bit of before. Where were you guys? Like, what made you want to seek out practice help? What like consulting, and what made you found MEG Business Management?
Pretty much every orthopedic physician office in this area now has their own PT, their physician-owned practices.
Right.
Every other physical therapy private practice has been bought out by a larger entity. We're kind of the last man standing.
Right.
And in order for us to continue to function and be successful and move forward, we needed some guidance. I think there's a recognition by the owner that we needed some guidance if we're going to, keep moving forward. And around the same time, I guess somebody from your end did some good marketing, because I was getting flooded by Brian Gallagher videos.
Oh, that must have been me.
And so I actually pushed Brian in front of the owner, and we had Brian come and do a consultation with us, and it basically took off from there.
Yeah. What was it about Brian that made you, was it the initial meeting with him or just his experience? What made it click?
I think the fact that he had so much experience personally with successfully running a private practice, but also that has had so much experience across the whole country. Gotcha. He has feedback that we couldn't possibly know. And I mean, we cannot sit and make calls to different companies all across America. And Brian has had that. He's had that exposure. He knows where people have made mistakes, and he's had people with startups and helped them successfully to start up. But he's also helped companies that have had years of experience.
And that would be you guys. I mean, we definitely have had a lot of startup practice owners come to us either just right out of school, or they're 1 or 2 years out of practicing at another clinic and they think they're ready to open. But, being a good clinician doesn't mean you're going to be a good practice owner. And then sometimes having a practice, being a veteran practice owner, you're kind of sometimes set in your ways, and you see all these different practices getting bought out. You got hospital practices, your orthopedic practices popping up, and then you're looking at yourself saying, I got to change what I'm doing. I can't keep doing it the way I was doing. There's got to be a better solution out there. And like you mentioned with Brian, it fascinates us when we're working with him and talking to him. And I think it also fascinates all our clients. There's not any topic that he cannot talk about and talk about it immediately. The minute you ask the question, he has an experience that he can relate to, and he can give you some feedback on it. So that's why we do those practice evals, and now we do them on the phone, and people are just instantly going, they know what they're talking about, because it's just not purely it's just experience. Just plain and simple. So
and that became more obvious once he came and met with us.
Exactly.
I think it's one thing listening to a podcast or watching a video, but actually getting face-to-face meeting with him for the day, where he could come and he immediately evaluated one of our clinics and picked up on some weaknesses that we could instantly make some changes to at the front desk. Actually, it's quite interesting.
That's great. So I want to ask, I'm going to go ahead ad lib here and jump off script here and just ask this before we get into the MEG Academy questions. And you mentioned the podcast. And one thing that we have found that many owners might be doing is we're putting out this podcast, and Brian, and we just want to give as much knowledge as possible. And the podcast, as of this recording, is just over a year old. I think we started in February 2018, so almost a year and a half. And we're afraid that some practice owners are using the podcast as that's their crutch. They're using it as MEG Academy. Yes. And they don't want to hop into MEG Academy because they think they're getting everything they need to know from the podcast. Don't get me wrong, podcast is great. We've given tons of great information, useful, skills that you can just take and implement the next day in your practice. But would you say, based on you've listened to the podcast and you've also been in MEG Academy, what's the difference between the podcast and MEG Academy?
The podcast, I'm just going to close the door here.
Yeah, no worries. We do this live, so everybody, that's who we are.
So the podcasts give you almost like the 30,000 foot overview. But once you delve into MEG Academy, you are getting the pure nuts and bolts, everything that holds it together. Yeah. And the MEG Academy is so much more extensive. There is so much information there. Whereas the podcast is really an overview.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like every other company, Brian is using the podcast as a way to have an outlet for him to, whatever's on his mind. If he wants to do it on a Facebook post, or if he wants to he loves podcasts. I think he's shooting one for us today. It's just a way to get our brand out there and get people to know us and to build trust with, people that want to be on the system. But like you said, MEG Academy, is the nuts and bolts. I mean, the podcast is just like building, but MEG Academy teaches you how to build that building and how to build that structure.
Yeah, it's very much more structured.
Yeah, perfect. So thanks for
and with MEG Academy, it touches upon anybody that works within the company, whether it's a tech, whether it's a front desk, whether it's the PCR or a provider. There is something for everybody.
Exactly.
And pitched at an appropriate level.
Yeah, we want to definitely be, you know, we have a lot of startups and existing, we want to come in at a level where people can afford it. You know, people are coming in as startups, they don't have a lot of startup costs, you know, they need to be able to get into the system. We're here for the practice owner, you know, and we'll do whatever it takes to get them this training. So that's great. So let's just jump into MEG Academy now. What is it? Talk about, like, you have 37 users on the system currently. How was the integration into your company, integration in your company? How did you do that logistically, and how has it been received among your staff?
Initially, it was a tough sell for some people. I will make a generalization that the younger crowd were more willing to make some change.
Mm-hmm.
The people who have been around, the more senior people, we had some pushback.
Okay.
But that's nothing new in the world, right? You know, exactly. How we structured it, again, the fact that we exposed everybody to certain parts of MEG Academy. You know, we didn't ask everybody to just, you've got to go off and watch every single video. I mean, that's just impractical.
Right.
So
30 hours of training.
Yeah, I mean, we did make it mandatory to view certain numbers of pre-selected videos.
Okay.
And again, we kind of pitched that at the appropriate level, depending on the employee. So it didn't make any sense for the front desk to be looking at, you know, at what a physical therapist is supposed to be doing, and vice versa. So we did have some mandatory selection of those videos, and we held people accountable for that, and of course you can track to see what people have looked at.
Yes, that's a big one. I mean, that's something that you guys too have been one of the more active users using what we're going to call the manager access level. So when you come in, everybody's on a learner access level, which means you can watch the videos and you can take the quizzes and take notes, and you have certain access things you're able to do on the system. But then Laura, one of their employees, she's a big part of implementing that system in your practice. She's come to me saying, okay, we need to get all the clinical directors on board at a manager level so they can see report cards, see how people are training, make sure you can hold them accountable. That's one of the reasons we went with this system, was the tracking ability of the system and being able to use the clinical directors as people who can overlook the overall training of the staff. So you guys have been one of the most active ones doing that.
Yeah, and I think if I remember, what we did was, so we picked out the certain videos. We gave all the staff a certain period of time in which to have viewed those, and then we all came together. Initially, we came together in our own positions. So the providers all got together to discuss. The admin staff all got together to discuss the PCRs. And then we've actually had a couple of company-wide meetings to follow up as well. Okay. So once we implemented MEG initially, I mean, we kind of had a go live date. I think it was March 1st. Mm-hmm. After the first month or 6 weeks, we then got together as a company, which was that was a lot of people.
I remember that. I remember that email from Laura. Yeah.
In one room, and we basically went over now what's working, what's not working. You know, give us feedback. What do you like? What do you don't like? What can we? And that was excellent, just to have everybody's feedback.
Yeah, and I remember watching your user count. They came on board with a lot of user purchases, and I remember watching the user count go up, up, and up. But I wasn't receiving too many emails from them. I would reach out to Laura saying, "Hey, just checking in, making sure you're not having any technical issues." And I just saw that user count going up, up, up. I'm like, man, these guys are crushing it.
Yeah.
They're not only are they using the system, they're thinking of better ways to use it. And then Laura shared with me some suggestions and recommendations on how to make the system better, because we're taking tons of information from our clients and saying, how can we make the system more efficient for you? And Laura was a big part of that. So I appreciate you guys on that.
And I think what we've done recently, because you guys have rolled out MEG 2.0 in the time that we've been on board. And MEG 2.0 is even more extensive. So Laura and I have had to go back in again and try and streamline we've actually created a tier system for the videos.
Yep.
So depending on somebody's position within the company, you've got now a structure to tier 1, tier 2, down to tier 7, 8, where the tier 1 and 2, everybody, it's mandatory. You've got to watch these things. So anybody who's coming on board, we've got a structure for how people engage with the videos and the training.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, and like I said, Laura's been a big help with giving some suggestions on how we can make the system better. So that's why we got you on the testimonial today, because I just wanted to talk about that a little bit more. Let's get into some of the positive changes you've experienced as a result of your training. Before we started this video, everyone, Rob was talking about the implementation of a patient care representative at their clinic. So can you talk about that topic that you learned from MEG Academy?
Well, I think that stems back to Brian emphasizing the point that we cannot, in this day and age, purely rely on physicians as a referral source. We have to start utilizing social media in a more effective way. We need to be getting a certain percentage of our referrals kind of in-house, where we've got successful patients getting their family members in, friends, or people from their running club, which is one avenue that we've been successful with, but not just having to rely on the docs.
Right.
So, and I think that's where the PCR's patient care rep has really helped us a lot, because a lot of us, we don't have a lot of social media skills.
It's tough.
As a PT, I'm thinking about treating the patient, right? I'm not thinking about, well, if I'm going to post this on Facebook. So the PCR is a totally new role for us as a company, and that has helped us tremendously. Capturing success stories, making the therapists accountable for capturing success stories. We all have them. We go every day where we're touching people's lives, but we don't always capture that successfully.
Yeah, it's sort of like, I have the story here, but I don't know how to properly take that information and use it as a way to bring in more new patients. I see this opportunity, and we see it all the time. Everybody says, "Oh, it's a great success story." But what do you do with it?
What do you do with it?
What do you think about the role play videos in MEG Academy? So we have the lecture videos, everyone, but we have a lot of role play videos where it's Brian with talking to a patient. Or have those been helpful to your PCRs?
I think they have. I don't have as much interaction with the training for the PCR, so I can't tell you exactly that, because there's some of the videos that I haven't watched.
Okay.
I'm still sifting through what I'm supposed
executive
to be
stuff. Yeah.
So I can't really give you an accurate answer for that.
Okay, no worries. So let's talk about, so we want to get out of that is pretty much, we were talking about a little bit about the marketing enhancement program in MEG Academy, where we talk about internal and external marketing in different ways and different avenues where you get new patients. Do we take out the doctors? No, we show you, we do role plays in there to show you how to not only get the doctors to get you more referrals, but how to enhance that communication between the doctors, and then how to find other patients in other avenues. Like you said, the running club, allied health services. We talk about a whole bunch of different things, and there are role plays, and role plays and lectures are throughout every program.
Mhm.
I think you also mentioned MEG Academy 2.0. When we first rolled out the system, Rob and his team were on a 7-program platform, which we've now expanded to a 14-program platform, all within 6 months. So this is a really extensive, well over 30-hour program that, and like you say, Rob can't even get to all of it.
Mhm.
So it's really great. So let's jump now into maybe some statistics. We'll
Yep.
wrap up this video real quick. I know you guys are busy. How has the MEG Academy training impacted your company growth in terms of statistics? And we're going to talk about one key statistics that Rob mentioned before this video started.
Right. I mean, we have 7 clinics, and we were averaging a cancel no-show rate of just below 30%, which seems extremely high. And we always were concerned about that. And we never really quite understood why that was happening. But we are down to, and I'm just looking at every clinic, the highest we have now is 15.5%. So we've slashed that in half.
And what did you say that one clinic had?
Now, one clinic is down to under 2% cancel fail, which is incredible. And I spoke to the clinic director this morning about that, and she puts it down to the success of the PCR and then the front desk training.
Awesome.
Because they are not only if somebody is not able to come in, they're able to fill that slot. That they understand that they've got it, they want to fill that position. So it's been remarkably successful with our cancel no-show rate. And
just to jump back to the PCR, and that's and that statistic is just one of many Rob has. We don't have time to go over all of them. We just want to share that one of the statistics that you can bring to the table. But just to go back to that PCR, you mentioned that you were recycling through some came in, there was a little bit of turnover there. Initially, before when we had our training, Brian would fly out, train for 9 days, and then once that training was over, we'd just do a lot of follow-up, but there wasn't that intensive training. If somebody was in that training and then isn't with the company anymore, then you would have lost that person's knowledge during those 9 days. But now with MEG Academy,
yes.
if you have a PCR come in, or if you have a marketing or front desk or PT, what have you, we cover every position of the company. They take the training for a month or two, and then it's just not a fit. They leave. Laura comes to me and says, hey, this person's left, and we want to replace that license, and so that this person can do the training.
Exactly.
So that person leaves, they lost their access, and the new person just comes right in and gets whatever access you guys want, and you don't lose any of that training, any of that knowledge. It's 24/7 forever. So
absolutely.
So that was one of the big things that we're saying, we need to put the system in place virtually so people can on demand access this content, Brian's information all the time. So
yes,
that's been a big help. I just want to make that point with you guys. Rob, is there anything you want to leave them with? Rob's, part of a large group of people. We do have a lot of startups. Is there anything you want to let them know about MEG Academy, that what makes it worth it? What makes it, the time it takes to go through all the training, what makes it worth it for you and your practice?
Well, again, it's given us a lot more structure. It's introduced new concepts and ideas which we hadn't even thought about before, and we've got some pretty dynamic people amongst us. So, and it's just helping us to expand and grow, continue to grow. So the good thing with MEG is it's evolving as well. The jump from 1.0 to 2.0 was pretty substantial. I know Brian's adding new stuff all the time, so long may that happen. And it's something that we never lose.
Right.
We can revisit it whenever we want.
Exactly. And that's, our company was founded, Brian started consulting because, some practice owners came to him and said, hey, I need some help. I saw you're successful. I want to be successful like you. And it just blossomed from there into our billing. Some clients said, hey, our billing's not good. Yours is good. Brian's like, I'll step in and help you guys. I do billing for my clients, and it just blew up. And then same thing with MEG Academy. It was Brian's training that's evolved in those MEG Academy 1.0 to 2.0 literally it expanded to 14 programs
Hmm.
because everybody that was on 1.0 started throwing in so many suggestions and ideas and areas that they needed help with. And we literally scripted out, I think 70 or 80 additional videos within a couple weeks and got them all shot throughout the year. And that's how that program evolves. It's from the feedback from our clients. We're only putting in there the most up-to-date concerns and questions that our clients are having. We put them all together and we do a big film day, get it out on MEG Academy, and then throw an update up there to everybody. So it's just been really great putting this whole system together. I feel really proud about it.
Yeah, as you should. And I will also say to everybody, when you venture into MEG Academy, you start to recognize where not only your strengths are, but you certainly recognize where your weaknesses are.
There's a lot of data in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're looking at it, and some of it's personal growth and professional growth. And
Yes.
some of those videos about personal growth are just like we're trying to work not only on your practice but yourself as a
Yes.
person,
And we
as
love
an
that.
owner. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hey Rob, I really appreciate it. I'm sure we can keep going on and
Yep.
on and talking about this. I really appreciate you hopping on, but we're going to wrap it up here. Guys, if you've made to the end of this video, thank you very much. If you have any questions or concerns about MEG Academy or want to learn more about MEG Academy and getting on board, you can email us at info@megbusiness.com, or you can I'll put the phone number up on the screen here. Give us a call. Just reach out. We'll have a one-on-one conversation, and you can set up a demo with one of our chief development officers. They can go over the system with you one-on-one. So, Rob, thanks again for coming on board, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.